we're going to discuss one of the topics I really deeply like. That's the product that I'm leading within MDC, which is Copilot for security in Defender for Cloud. I'm going to be presenting, and we have Dick Clegg as the moderator. He's going to be in the chat, answer your questions. So let's just start. So our agenda today is we're going to start by talking about the cloud security challenges, and then look at how Defender for Cloud is there to respond to these challenges. And then we're going to talk about Copilot for security, and we're going to present to you 3 new experiences that were integrated into MDC. The first one called risk exploration, the second is risk remediation, and the last one is automated risk remediation. And then we'll wrap it up with some demos and Q&A. So I hope you're going to have a wonderful time together. So let's talk a little bit about security challenges. We still see that the lack of visibility and into security compliance is still one of the main concerns and one of the main things that customers are investing a lot of time. Staying up to date with the latest attack it's a very troubling area, and we feel that customers are investing a lot of time. And also, as customer and security team is challenging with low number of people, and it's another thing that getting the right people on the job and skilling them to understand security complexity is something that invests a lot of time in. Also, we see that we have an increasing number of sophisticated attacks. We see that most of the attack result in internet exposure. And today, when most of our things that we are doing in the clouds are applications, most of them are internet exposed by default because we want to expose them to the internet. And then we will see that a lot of those attacks eventually result in data exposure, which is a very high concern with a lot of problems that we have in the cloud. Lastly, we see that a lot of companies are working in multi-cloud. We see 98% of the organization using more than one cloud providers, and attackers don't really care on where you are, on what cloud. They just want to get in and start moving within the organization. So attack paths are expanding throughout different clouds, and also from on-premises and hybrid environments. So that's the third security challenge. Next slide is one of my not favorite. I think it's like put a lot of focus on where you are right now and why it's so hard. First of all, we have a survey that came from SC Media, showed that security teams, this survey was around 1,000 companies. It showed that security teams only take care of 30% of vulnerabilities that we found in the cloud. So MDC is very good in detecting misconfiguration and giving you the exactly what is missing in order to reduce your attack surface. But we see that security teams can only handle 30% of the vulnerabilities. That's because while you're closing vulnerabilities, new vulnerabilities are coming, and the average time to patch those vulnerabilities currently is 30 days. So from the moment that you are vulnerable to the moment you manage to close it in 30 days, that's a very high number. Most of the time we try to reduce this. And the last thing, I think this is like the promise or where we can go, is when looking at attacks and doing the analysis of attack, we see that 99% of attacks will not happen if we just manage to improve our posture hygiene and close and trigger misconfiguration that we have in the cloud. So how MDC is looking at this area. So what is very interesting about Defender for Cloud is, first of all, we are starting in the middle. Let me just use my laser pointer. So we are starting in the middle with misconfiguration and CSPM and your hygiene. So we are detecting those misconfiguration across different clouds and also across code. Then we can go back into shift left into the code, and we currently know how to scan different Git repositories and DevOps environments. So we can look at your development pipelines and your code in order to shift left. And also during runtime, we have different CWP tools like Defender for servers and Defender for storage that we are constantly monitoring your running environment and detecting vulnerabilities as they happen by understanding logs. MDC is part of Microsoft Security, and we currently offer a best of suite approach that is not only posture, but also we have connection to different integrated inside different products within MDC and across Microsoft Security. And also we can integrate into the XDR, into SIEM, and allow closing attacks and have this discussion between between security groups more seamless and work better. This is the way that we believe that we can help you close those attacks and increase the number of vulnerabilities you manage to close. Going next, let's see. Yeah, just close my laser pointer and click next. So one of the cool things we are doing is to help you cut through the noise and get the most of your in front of your most critical multi-cloud risk is that we have a map. We put all of the insight that we collect from different protection environments and Microsoft products into one security graph, and then we automatically discovering all of the attack that attacker can do. This is help us change the perspective from a defender perspective to the attacker perspective. And in most cases, when you're looking at an environment from the defender side, you're limited to where to focus and close first. But once you change this perspective, and we are doing so by automatically trying to create a different type of attack path, and then automatically prioritize them for you, we can help you understand and the lateral movement possible across your cloud and multi-cloud environment. We help you to detect automatically your critical business resources, and also with connection to different Microsoft products, we can show insight like sensitivity, data sensitivity, DevOps insight, compliance, and network to fully understand the attack surface that you have. So how do we tip the scale in favor of the defender? And how we scale human more effectively? This is come with the revolutionary value that we have from AI. Today, AI help us do this paradigm shift by helping us automatically detect and real-time visibility on your context in the cloud, help us investigate and respond threat quicker, and even put your defenders and security teams in a better way of closing those gaps faster. Next. So Microsoft is in a unique position in the market of transforming security for our customers, not only because of our investment in AI, but also because we offer end-to-end security, identity, compliance, and more across our portfolio. We can cover more threats vector and deliver value on a coordinated experience across security. By embracing generative AI and simplifying otherwise complex workload, we can help organizations turn the table on attack, and we innovate faster and to allow our customers to do the same. So this was like the background and context of why we want to use Copilot. And now let's present Security Copilot, Microsoft Copilot for Security. It's the first generative AI security product in the market that helps defend organizations the speed and scale of AI. Since the initial announcement, the interest and excitement has been unprecedented. Copilot for Security combined the most advanced GPT-4 models from OpenAI and Microsoft developed AI orchestration. It's powered by Microsoft Security unique expertise, global threat intelligence, and comprehensive security products. Copilot for Security will help security analysts and IT professionals be more effective and efficient at all the roles they play. It helps them enhance and grow their capabilities and skills, while also supporting the workloads and teams you collaborate to solve a security challenge together. So last month, in Microsoft Build, we announced that we are bringing the Security Copilot embedded experience directly into MDC. This allows us to introduce additional efficiencies into MDC and that accelerate response and remediation times. We continue to see misconfiguration as one of the leading causes for data breaches. We saw that on the first slide, that data breaches is like 45% of the attack that we see. And we also saw that security teams only managed to touch 30% of attack path. But we also have a lot of noise, and we're gonna use Copilot to help you focus on where to start first and on what recommendation you should prioritize, and then we're gonna help you reduce them by helping you remediate faster, understand the entire data around specific recommendation, also provide remediation action that will help you remediate faster, and we're going to help you even find the right person in the organization to forward the alert to them in case you are not the one that need to remediate. So we have released 3 features or 3 experiences using Copilot integration in Defender for Cloud. The first one, we're calling it Assisted Risk Exploration. This helps you to further reduce the time required to understand your cloud security posture with Copilot for Security. We can now surface and understand critical risk faster than ever. We do this by combining contextual insight across many indicators from the Intelligence Cloud Security Graph that powers Defender for Cloud. We will show that in the demo, but here you can ask questions on the recommendation page and have this entire screen be focused on a specific risk in the cloud. After we find the risk we want to remediate, we're going to help you with assisted risk remediation. This is the second experience that we shared in Security Copilot. This is part of the remediation blade, and we're going to be there to help you summarize the recommendation that you open. Also help you remediate with remediation action. Sometimes it's going to be script, sometimes it's going to be step-by-step instruction how to remediate this. And lastly, we're going to help you delegate a specific recommendation to the right person in the organization that can help you solve it. Lastly, this is something that I'm really excited about. We also start using and touching automated risk remediation. Automated risk remediation, we are taking a remediation as part of the infrastructure as code. When you develop a new application to the cloud, many are using infrastructure as code templates in order to streamline their work. The other side, it's increasing the security surface because one template can touch hundreds or thousands of different resources. Here we help you discover different vulnerabilities in those infrastructure as code template, and we also help you to generate a PR to close them. This is exciting because that's the first time we are giving the opportunity for security admin and DevOps admin or developers talk the same language, and we're going to use security Copilot for Security to generate the PR with all of the data needed in order to streamline the remediation process. So without any further ado, we're going to show a demo on all of these 3 different experiences that we presented in Copilot for Security. So just a second. Okay. So now I'm in Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and as you can see, just a second. Okay, so now we are in Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and if I will go to the recommendation, you will be presented with the new recommendation blade. This new recommendation blade is something that we announced last year at Ignite, and the new thing we added here is the risk level. Risk level makes sure that your entire recommendation are sorted by the most critical recommendation to resolve first. So first we have recommendations that close large number of attack paths and have a high criticality. But this is not enough, because as you can see in my screen, yes, these recommendations are sorted out, but I still have many different pages of recommendations. So what we start to do with Copilot is our ability to analyze those. Opening that screen, I'm presented with some kind of question that I can ask. For example, show risk for publicly exposed resources, show risk for resources with sensitive data, or show risk for critical resources. You can also write, and we are supporting natural language in order to help you reduce the time needed to get the right queries and ask the right question. You can show, for example, show risk to data. When I'm writing that, you can see that Copilot for Azure, which is because we are in Azure, this is the Copilot in charge. You can see that it's determining what to do. And you will see this question is a security question because of the page we are in and the question that I asked. Next, it should forward that question. Well, let's do it again. Show risk to data. It's a live demo. Let's see. Maybe let me just try again. Let's try again. This does not look good. Okay, now we got game. So you can see that the Azure Copilot understands this is a security question, is using Copilot for security in order to respond to that question. Next, we are taking that question, show risk to data, and we examine that. Next, we're going to have a query on the security graph. We translate in show risk to data to searching for database and object storage that contain sensitive data. So it automatically understands that risk to data is not only for database or object storage, but also the data should be sensitive. Then we're going to get the result. We are summarizing them. We say based on the analysis, it appears the database and object storage are contain sensitive data, part of this risk. And then we are doing a breakdown. We say we have 6 storage accounts, 6 web containers, 3 RDS instance databases. This is multi-cloud, by the way. We are doing it across all of your cloud environment. And if you have on-premises, you can do it on on-premises too, if they are connected to MDC. And as S3 buckets. Now I can do one of 2 things. First of all, I can apply the filter. Apply the filter will make sure that this stream that is focused on recommendation will now look at recommendation for data risk. So I made sure to like shrinking down. You can see I only have 1 page of recommendation now. I used to have 127, and it's still sorted out, but the most critical to resolve first. The other thing that it will help me is by generating the next question I can ask. Let me just increase that. So I asked about risk to data. So now we say, okay, if you want to zoom in even further, let's say the filter was not as good as it was that summarized everything to one page. It will give me additional queries I can ask to further narrow down the area I'm looking at. So we say, okay, show it to sensitive data and public access or exposed to the internet. This is talking about permission. The next question is talking about internet exposure. So that's the first one. You can continue asking, and it will continue providing those questions and response. So that's the experience. We call it assisted risk exploration. So as you explore, shorten the list, be focused on what you need to do first. Next one, and let's just say take one of the recommendation. This recommendation talking about management port should be closed on a virtual machine. This is another new page we have in MDC. This is the new recommendation blade. And this recommendation have a lot of new stuff into it. We have a short description. We're talking about attack threats that are attached. Who is the owner of this recommendation? What are the risk factors involved? What are the tactics and techniques that are involved in this type of attacks? And also we can see the graph with all of the different attack paths that we automatically discovered. For example, the first one, we have an internet exposed IP address that connected into a virtual machine, and this virtual machine can authenticate to identity that have access to storage account. This is the goal. So this is data exfiltration. If I'm going to look at the storage account, click on Insight, I can understand what type of data is currently at risk. For example, we found SSN, credit card numbers, and such. And I can, an experienced MDC and defender can go over each one of those different graph attack paths, and can go around all of the data we have here in order to understand what is the problem and what you need to do. But not everybody are so understand what they need to do and have that expertise in security. So we are using Copilot. I have this click to summarize this with Copilot. And you see when I'm clicking on this, we start to build the summarization of this recommendation. Again, we are going from Copilot in Azure to Copilot for security. And then we're fetching all the recommendation detail. We're going to the map. We get all of the data. We're going to ARG, get all the data we can. And then we build summarization. Our summarization, as you can see, we invested a lot of time to make them short. And in this recommendation, we get all of the data you need. First of all, you have the recommendation title. Next, we are talking about the risk level. You can see we have a risk for situation exposed VM as a high level. We also give you value that this includes sensitive data and lateral movement. And this is why we decided this is critical. And also, we're going to give you data of the recommendation time is already due. And this is the owner that need to be, and we just need somebody from the lobby. And this is the owner that is attached to this. Okay, next, as you can see, we will always, sorry, what happened? Okay. Okay, next, I can choose between to delegate to the resource owner and generate an email, or to help me remediate this recommendation. I choose to help me remediate this recommendation. Here, what we'll try to do is to understand what is the right and to generate a remediation action. Remediation action, as I told you before, can be a next like a guide of where to go and where to click in order to resolve this recommendation, but it can also be a script. Here, for example, we will generate a script also for this recommendation. Again, we're fetching into Copilot for security, and then we retrieve the recommendation details, and now we are generating the script and remediation action to remediate this recommendation. Let's give it 1 more minute. And by the way, we currently are not supporting that you see it right in the answer as you click it. So we need to wait for him to finish all of the reply in order for us to show you, but we're going to support it soon. So you see the answer being built as you type. Important thing for me to say, when we are returning script, we make sure this script is in high quality. We have a mechanism behind the scenes that validate that the script that we are returning are script that been validated throughoutly with Microsoft. Okay, let's see the response. Let me just increase this. So first of all, a quick summary of what we are trying to remediate, and then what to do. You can go to the VM, go to networking blade, allow management port, and click on each rules that allow management port and change it from allow to deny. So that's like very simple, straightforward what you need to do. Next, we're going to have a script. As you can see, the script is ready to run, meaning that the resource ID is the resource ID I'm trying to resolve, meaning that everything is ready to run. All of the environments and parameters are in. If I'm going down, you can see that I'm generating a management port to all of the management port IDs, and then I'm creating a deny firewall rule to deny those environment. Because it's a script and we are in Azure, and we are using Copilot for Azure as the UX, we have a button that we can click on run and resolve that. Think about, it's not configured yet on my screen, but think about the protector that currently have 30 days to close a remediation. Think about this example that I have 4 different attack paths that are getting into sensitive data that can be sensitive data breach. And think about me just running that, click on run, and the problem is done. But as you know, not always I'm the one that solved that. Sometimes I need to talk with the environment, not all the time. You're the one need to do the remediation action. So we invested in delegation action. This is something we heard from MDC customers that many times they need to write that email with all of the data needed and find the right person to reply. We are doing that automatically. Again, we are going into Copilot for security. And what we will try to do is to generate email to the resource owner. And that email will include everything the resource owner need in order to continue by resolving this remediation. Let's give it a second. By the way, as you saw, everything here is a live demo. It started at the beginning that I had to refresh my entire browser. So let's have the email ready in a second. By the way, every time we need to put a lot of text, it will take a little bit longer because of the way that we need to write all of the text before we return it in Copilot. Okay. So now you have the general advice of the resource owner is to review and modify these settings. You have all of the data here, and you have a link. Oh, I close my email, so it will take another second. So it's opening my email client. I will show you the email in a second. Where is it? Just a second. Where are you? Here it is. I lost the email. Now I need to move it here so you can see it. Okay. Okay, so that's the email it generated. As you can see, the email is ready to run. You can verify that everything looks good, add your name at the button and send it. The email will include the link that will take the resource owner back to MDC to resolve. You will get to the place, you need to click on fix and everything will sort it out. So that's my second demo. Next demo. So the last one, we talked about assisted risk exploration. We talked about assisted risk remediation. And now let's talk about automated risk. As you can see here, this is one of the recommendations talking about Azure DevOps repositories should have infrastructure as code scanning, finding, resolve. This is something we are doing in DevOps pipeline of detecting all of the misconfiguration you have potentially within your infrastructure as code templates. By clicking and reduce risk with Copilot, click. Benefit box. Good. Okay. So clicking reduce risk with Copilot, I will get a quick example of what we are going to do. Take a second. It's currently fetching the data from this recommendation with all of the findings involved in the graph, and I will get a response saying very soon. Just a little longer than usual. Let's do a new chat. Let's close that. Let's give it another try. Sorry, my environment today is not working as expected. Let's give it another go. Let me just explain what we are going to do. So here, what we want to do is to find those findings in code that we can fix and then generate a PR to resolve them. We will have the PR ready to run. Yeah, that's good. So he said, we identify problem in infrastructure as code. Copilot can generate a pull request to remediate and to remediate this supported security checks for this recommendation. And then we click on select. I see the security check that we run. We have one that need call ensure that we just select it and let it run. So here is something that we have a configuration that can cause a vulnerability within code. And then Copilot for Security will look and give me an explanation of what is wrong and how I should resolve it. Let's give it a second. We're using Copilot for Security, good. We don't have that problem anymore. So now what I'm expecting to receive is a good explanation of what is wrong and how I need to resolve it. As you can see, it say, okay, that's the details. This is the path. As you can see, it's a Terraform file. This is the line that is in problem, and this is what you need to do in order to change it. Ensure that security transfer required is enabled on the storage account. Then I can click to submit pull request. What it's going to do behind the scenes is going to use me and my permission in order to generate a pull request on this Terraform file on the specific line that is currently in trouble. And then it happened very quickly. And then you can see I'm opening the pull request. Check. You see there's a new pull request that we created together with Copilot. If I click on files, first of all, see the overview. First of all, warning generated with Copilot, generated by my user, and then please thoroughly review and validate these changes. And then when I'm going into files, you can see exactly what we changed. Enabled HTTPS traffic was false, traffic only, and we changed it to true under that storage account. So I think what was it really interesting here, think about the discussion between security admins and developers or DevOps admins. Think how it's hard for us to talk with them and talk on their level. Here, it's the same ground. PR is something that they're using and reviewing every day. And by generating this PR, we can simplify and make sure we're closing that gap faster than ever. Think about this template can touch thousands of different resources in the cloud, so we can reduce a very big attack surface. So that's the end of the third demo. We've done it. So what we talked about today. So we show you 3 different experiences within Defender for Cloud that are using Copilot. We show you how you can focus faster on the most important alert, how you can ask questions in native language, and how we are translating them with Copilot and finding the right area that you ask on and giving you a prompt response, and then allowing you to shrink and narrow and focus on the most important alerts under the area you decided to look at. Next, we show you how we are change the way we are doing remediation. We show you auto remediation when we are taking the seat together with you as a Copilot to create the remediation PR in code, and we show you how we can help you to create the script that you need to run. This is targeted and focuses on reducing the time it takes to security admin to close recommendation and reduce attack surface, and also help you to touch a larger number of recommendations that we are currently present to you. And eventually it will help you to work smarter. As a team that use Copilot in MDC will find critical alerts faster, will resolve them faster, and will communicate better with the resource owners and the developers in their environments. So now we have time for Q&A.
Yeah, so Asaf, it's Dick.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that came up, it was answered, but I think it would probably bear a little bit of verbal explanation. Was what's our relationship with the Azure Copilot here?
Okay.
It looked like in the UI that things were going that, and just wondering if you could dig into that.
Yeah. So in general, currently, Defender for Cloud is part of the Azure portal. We are there. This is our home. In Azure portal, we have a Copilot for Azure. That's the Copilot that is focused on helping you do things better and smarter in Azure. Microsoft will allow eventually for those Copilots to talk together. And because MDC is part of the security environment, we are part of Copilot for Security. This is giving us a huge benefit. Think about from the same Copilot, you can ask questions about posture, but you can also ask questions about incidents, or question about TI, or question about security in general. And we believe that in the end, security teams will have like this like backbone of Copilot to help them do everything they need to do in security. So our decision was not to try to mimic Copilot for security UI, but to integrate. We are the first security product to integrate with Azure. This integration will be better as we are reaching GA, but we think that once you are in Azure, some of your questions are going to be to Azure. How much this cost? Give me data from documentation about something. We gave you an answer talking about NSG, network security groups. Maybe you want to ask, what is NSG? That's Copilot for Azure can help you. Take me to the right place. I saw a problem in SQL. Take me to the SQL blade. So we believe in this coexistence will help you run better and use this better. We are investing a lot of time working very closely with Azure, Copilot for Azure to streamline that connectivity. You saw it at every time we are starting in Azure, and then we say using Copilot for security, and we are forwarding your prompts to Copilot for security. And then when we have the response, we are getting it back to Azure. But then we got all of the word of Azure to continue with, for example, to run the script or do the things that I did like seamlessly as part of the UI. So we believe that this will get, as time will go, it's get better. But currently, because we are in Azure, our UX for the embedded experience going to be Copilot for Azure. By the way, we're going to add also the standalone experience, and then we're going to be together with all of the rest of the security products. So in standalone, you're using Copilot for security, and you can ask all of those security products together. Was it good enough? It's like, you have anything else, Dirk?
No, that was the one last question. I suggest we stick around for 1 minute, see if anybody else wants to put some questions in the chat. If not, we can turn it over to Jason.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah, we'll give it a minute.
All right.
So one last thing I want to say, we presented today the first 3 experiences within MDC. We have a lot more that we are currently building all across the MDC experience. And our main focus is to help you do your job better and to help junior person on your team act like they're one of the best. So I'm hoping that it was exciting to you to watch, and stay tuned for further announcements.
Great. So with that, I would like to thank you, Asaf and Dick, for being our guests and for sharing the great information with our community. Also, thank you to the Q&A team who helped us with answering the questions and providing the resourceful information. To all the listeners still on the line, if you're someone who wishes to aid in the protection of the world from cyber threats and desire to have a say in shaping our strategies, blueprints, and recommendations, then we invite you to become part of our security community. Together, we can make a global impact. So join us at aka.ms/securitycommunity. This is also where you'll be notified about the upcoming webinars, events, and other announcements. Also, please take a minute submitting your webinar feedback at aka.ms/security-webinar-feedback. For those of you who may have additional questions on the topic we just covered or other product-related questions, please feel free to raise them on our Microsoft Tech Community discussion space at aka.ms/mdccommunity. Thank you all for being part of our community and for joining us on these webinars. We hope to see you next time. Goodbye.